Matty Beniers signs a contract extension with Seattle, signs a 7 by 7.14 extension with the Kraken. And listen, okay, he's coming off a down year in his sophomore season. Did not really build up the hype from his rookie season, but he's looking to bounce back. And this is Seattle taking a complete chance with this player, saying, listen, what you did in your rookie year, great. You didn't really play great your sophomore season. However, though, nobody on Seattle played great.
No, they couldn't
except
score.
Joey Daccord, exactly. Offensively wise, they were not great. So he is going to be their center for the future, their number one center for the future. Him and Stevenson, their 1 and 2 punch, I think is great for Seattle. And to get this guy locked up now before he potentially has a breakout season this season, I think smart, because if he goes out and breaks out fully this season, you're looking at another $1.5 million paying this guy.
Yeah, I mean, I think it always makes sense for a team to sign like a high-end prospect, like a high-end player, like Beniers, to a long-term extension just as soon as you can.
Mm-hmm.
You know, get the cap hit lower and max out the years if possible. I'm sure they wanted to do 8. He probably didn't. It is what it is. It's a year.
Yeah.
But like 7.14, like I think Beniers will bounce back. I think bringing in like an actual like 2C and who can play 1C in a pinch, and Stevenson will help a lot, take a little bit of pressure off of him, because he was their number one center. He had to be. They didn't really have anybody else.
They couldn't go to anybody else.
Yeah, so I think Stevenson will help take some of that pressure off of him, you know, and I think he can learn a lot from him. Beniers can learn a lot from Stevenson, you know, but Stevenson was an integral piece of the Vegas Golden Knights, you know, big reason why they won their Stanley Cup. You know, I know they have Eichel and Marchessault, but Stevenson is I think a pretty underrated contributor to that team. You know, he came over. I think he's a 2-time Stanley Cup champion because he won with Washington too. Yeah, he came over to Vegas and he stepped in right away. Before they had Eichel, and when they got Eichel, he played 1C for them, and I thought he did a pretty good job for them.
Do you mind bringing up Seattle's projected lines real quick?
Yeah.
Because this is a team which I think is going to be underrated this season. I know I was super low on them going into this past season, and mightily so I thought they were going to take a step back, and they did. That's not me hating anything, and that's not me bragging that I was right. But I think this team, adding Stevenson, might be a little bit of an overpay. So what you needed a second-line center. And
yeah. No, they were desperate.
Oh, yeah.
And he was one of the better ones available on the market.
Like, are you going to go into the season with Yanni Gourde as your second-line center again? Like, you're not going to
Yeah, no, they couldn't do that. Yanni Gourde's not a second-line center anymore.
No, he's not. And then with Brandon Montour, you bring him in, again, a little bit an overpay. But guess what, though? That's going to happen. You need to improve some lines in free agency, and you're going to...
Oh, this offseason was all about fixing the scoring issue.
I think they did do that, kind of. I think they are going to bounce back in a big way. Everybody, McCann and Eberle took setbacks from when they made it to the semifinals and almost made it to the conference.
Do not forget, they still have Shane Wright.
Yes, which in his limited time this past season actually did not play that bad. So hopefully Shane Wright can take on a full-time NHL role this season.
A lot of people forget they have Shane Wright still.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
He could end up being the 1C eventually.
Dude, do you know how nuts it would be if eventually you have Beniers, Stevenson, and then Shane Wright can take that step into a full-time NHL role? That's a good center core.
Yeah, because Shane Wright, I remember when they drafted him, like I was like, I can't believe Seattle, like they let him fall to Seattle. They got Beniers and Shane Wright, like they're set at center for like the next 15 years. You know, Shane Wright, a little bit of a slow development, but I still think he's going to be great.
Oh my, like give this kid a break. I don't want to. I'm not going to call him a bust until
he's
we
not
see
a bust,
him.
dude. No, he hasn't even played a full season in the
NHL.
NHL.
I know you have a huge gripe on people calling players busts after a couple of
clickbait,
seasons.
Man.
Yeah, but this team though, I'm looking to take a nice little step.
I still think
a little bit over 500.
I still think they're outside the playoff
Yeah.
bubble for me. You know, they could surprise people like they did a couple years ago, and maybe, you know, move into that, you know, crazily enough, move in that 3 spot in the Pacific. You know, Vegas and LA take a step back like we think they might.
That would be nuts. So I'm all here for if it's a 3-team race in the Pacific.
That very well could happen. I mean, right now I wouldn't until I see, you know, if Beniers is better and see how Stevenson fits on the team. I'm not ready to make that
Seattle's
call.
my 5th team in the Pacific right now.
Yeah, but I mean, if there's a team that could compete with Vegas, and because I think Vegas is going to take a step back next year, and I think LA will take a little bit of a step back. You know, I'm not saying they're bad or anything, and they still might. They both end up making the playoffs still. I mean, someone's got to be that 3 spot in the Pacific because, I mean, you got the Oilers and the Canucks that are probably going to be that 1 and 2 spot.
They're going to run away with it. It's going to be them two at the top easily unless something catastrophic happens. Yeah, it's with Seattle. The difference between Seattle and LA and Vegas is that those two teams have firepower. Seattle doesn't really have as much firepower as Vegas and LA.
I mean, I like Jared McCann. I think he's a pretty underrated scorer.
He'll give you 25 goals this season.
Yeah, no.
But for your first line left wing, though, like you're looking for 30.
I believe he's had more than 30 goals.
Did he last season?
I mean, does his website not have freaking stats?
No. I'm going to look up Jared McCann's stats because I know a couple seasons ago he played absolutely.
Oh, yeah, he was like my fantasy darling. I think he had 40
was so
goals.
Good. Yeah, he did. Him and Eberle played out of their minds.
That was the year they like.
So last season,
he had a good season last year.
Yeah, last season he had 29, 33, 62.
Yeah, no, he's a good player. I mean, I think Beniers taking a little bit of a step back kind of
hurt them.
Hurt him. McCann's a pure shooter.
McCann can put the puck in the back of the net. And, like, this team is kind of going to rest on Matty Beniers in a way. If Jared McCann and Eberle can put the puck in the back of the net, you need Beniers to.
I mean, Eberle's starting to show his age a little bit.
Yes.
He's looking a little slower. Yeah.
Yeah, so I like their top 6, though. Jaden Schwartz, Stevenson, Burakovsky as their second line.
I think Bjorkstrand's a pretty underrated third liner, too. I think he's a great scoring upside. Guy. Yeah, I like Eli Tovalainen, too. I think he's a good player, too. But don't forget about Shane Wright. Just don't forget about him.
Shane Wright breakout season incoming.
I think he'll be on the team full time this year.
Oh, I would love that.
I think they need him to be.
There's no choice at this point.
Yeah.
If we see Shane Wright move up the depth chart by November, December,
I can't see him starting the season on the 4th line with freaking Brandon Tanev.
No, you're setting him up for failure at that point.
Like I like Tanev, he's good at what he does, but he does not should not be on a line with Shane Wright.
If Yanni Gourde started on the 4th line, I would be more than happy.
Yeah, you need to play. You need to put Shane Wright with someone who can
throwing Shane Wright with Eli Tolvanen and Bjorkstrand is fine to start the season.
Yeah, no, I can't see him playing because we're looking at the daily face-off. They have their projected lineups, and we know it's August, and there's not really any merit to this. It's just based on the lineups, what they think they're going to do. And they have Shane Wright on the 4th line with Ty Carte and Brandon Tanev. I don't see that happening.
Who I forgot Brandon Tanev was still in the league, low-key.
Yeah, I mean, I think his moment of fame was that his player picture.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't see Shane Wright going in the top 6. The top 6 fine. So 3rd line for me for Shane Wright I think is great. Switch Gordon Wright, and I think you have it all. Their defense, I'm going to go a little bit over their defense before we end things off here. Vince Dunn, Adam Larson, I think that's a good top pairing. You add Brandon Montour, I think is great, but then their bottom 3 guys I don't think's that great. Jamie
Alexiak's freaking gigantic.
Huge pause. I think he's all right. And then your 3rd pairing with Will Borgen and Evans, I think, is just a filler.
I could see Montour sliding up to maybe that top pair with Dunn when they need a goal really bad.
Oh, for sure.
I mean, Montour's going to be that power play quarterback, though, for sure.
You know what?
They brought him in for his offense.
I do like their top 2 power play guys in Vince Dunn and Brandon Montour.
Oh, that's solid. I mean,
good.
Looking at like their projected power play 1, I don't have any issues with it. I mean, and then see, like this is how it's BS because they have Shane Wright on their 4th line here, and then on the 2nd power play line they have Shane Wright centering the 2nd power play. Why would you have a guy on the 4th line and the 2nd power play?
Exactly, it makes no sense.
Yeah.
Make it make sense, guys. I want to know what I am excited for is Zoe Decord.
Yeah.
He played good for them down the stretch last season.
I think he's better than Grubauer.
Yeah, and you know what? That's true. That's competition right now. Grubauer had his good season when they made it to the semifinals in the playoffs. So
he was really great in the playoffs.
He was really good. Stole them some games too. Took them to 7 games at Dallas, I believe it was.
Yeah, I mean he also helped them upset Colorado against his old team.
Yeah,
had a little fire in him. He's like, you guys let me go, and then you win a cup. Fuck you. It's like, they don't take the cup away if you beat us, right? It's like, fuck you.
You know what is nice, though? Actually getting a chance to talk about other teams besides the same, 12 teams we're talking about.
I feel like we haven't talked about Seattle in,
it feels like it's been
4 or 5 months. We never talk about them. We probably mentioned them a little bit in free agency when we did our recap, but...
I mean, I feel like the last time we legitimately talked about Seattle was our Seattle team preview last season.
Maybe in depth.
Yes.
Yeah, but
this team is going to be underrated. I think they're going to go into the season with the chip on their shoulder.
They're definitely not bad. I mean, we'll see. I mean, we got to see how they go starting
I'm
in this
excited
season.
to talk about the Pacific Division come team previews in about 3
That's
or 4
a
weeks.
very interesting division.
It is going to be intriguing.
Yeah.
So next week we start our previews, correct? Yeah, I believe we do. Thank you guys for staying till the end. If you enjoyed it, we appreciate if you press the subscribe button and notification bell. And make sure to join our Discord where we talk hockey and other sports all day long. And follow our Instagram for more exclusive content. We'll see you guys in our next video.